Hello, this is Tony from Kate's Crafted Closet. Today I'm going to show you how to do this really cool, clean and simple card using some baked textured embossing powders from Seth, Apter, and Emeraldcreek by using some double-sided tape. So let's go ahead and get ourselves started. So today I use black cardstock on this one that I'm going to do for this video, and I'm going to show you some more samples at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for that. And I will also link all the products that I use today in the description box below. So I went ahead and cut down some 100-pound black cardstock that I picked up from Michael's, and this is a top folding card, so that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I went ahead and die cut out of some white Nina Solo White Classic Crest 80-pound version cardstock with this Gina Marie Designs scallop stitch rectangle die, and this is going to be for the inside of our card. Since it's a black cardstock, I want to be able to put a sentiment in there using any kind of colored pen. You don't know how to use white, so I'm just going to go ahead and take my trusty art glitter glue, which is back from summer vacation. I found it. Just a little joke. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're just going to, oops, we're not going to do that, let it fall. But good thing that the art glitter glue dries clear, right? So I like that I get to show you all my mistakes that I make, just so you can see and realize that it's no reason to get frustrated or anything of that nature. And I just have like a little damp towel here. I'll just wipe away that excess a little bit, and like I said, I'm not super concerned that that did that. Seriously, I'm not. Okay, so next thing on the list is this is an MFT Wonky stitch rectangle die that I die cut also out of some Nina Solo White 80-pound version cardstock, and I went ahead and put a piece of this double-sided adhesive that I picked up from Elizabeth Crafts at the Scrapbook Expo, but this is also available online as well, and I just put it across the bottom of our card. You can put it, placement can be anywhere you want. You can go up and down, side to side, you can go diagonal, and just make sure that you use if you have some Tim Holtz scissors, because they're coated, the adhesive won't stick to it and gunk up and drive you insane. So, and you can just trim off the excess. So that being said, we can move on to the next thing on our list, is basically using some of the embossing powders from Emeraldcreek and Seth Apter, and I have several of them that I used, and we're going to go ahead and use one of them as we speak, and then I'll, like I said, at the end of the video I will show you all the different ones that I use. So since I'm doing the black one here, I'm going to go with the first is this Rocky Road, and we're going to use that one. And then we need to get us a scrap sheet of, I just use copy paper because it's just easier to fold and all that. So all you're going to do is pull the release paper off of your double-sided adhesive, and any double-sided adhesive will work. This is just what I have, and save the release paper because you never know when you may need that in the future. So I'm going to grab this, and you notice that it's called baked texture for a reason. There's texture in here, not just embossing powder. So I'm just going to put it on there, let it do its thing, and go over it a few times so all the adhesive is covered. So you'll notice, you see the powder, and then you'll see all the little texture pieces. So make sure you do not have your fan blowing, because this stuff will go all over the place. So let's go put that back in our little jar, and I always usually shake it up before I use it, just so all the bits and bobs in there get distributed pretty evenly. So next thing I'm gonna go in, I highly recommend using this Ranger heat tool, just because it won't blow all the pieces that are not embossing powders off of your paper, because the embossing powder, when it melts, it's what sets all the other pieces into the cardstock or whatever substrate you're using. Or if you have a heat gun that has a low setting, use it on the low setting. I'm just trying to prevent, like I said, it from blowing it all away. Or you can heat from the underside of your paper first, and then you can just go ahead and move it to the top. This does take a little bit longer to heat using the Ranger heating tool, but that's okay because I prefer it. I don't mind waiting. Like, I'm very patient, just so I'd rather it take more time than lose all of that amazing texture in those powders. Because after it dries, like, you don't want to go ahead and scratch it too hard, but you can feel the raised edges of what's in there. And there's several other embossing powders with other things in it, but I will show you some examples of those and what I used, like I said, at the end of the video. So like, we're halfway there. I just love watching embossing powder melt. Really cool. And I really love these baked textures. I really do. There's some cool, interesting things going on here. Like, if you're a mixed media artist or you want to dabble in it, these are perfect to use on anything. Like I said, I incorporate it into as much thing as I possibly can. And like I said, you can put it on a card. You can. I don't recommend, really. It won't work so well on detailed images because the chunky pieces won't adhere and will fall off. So kind of, if you're going to use anything, make sure it's pretty solid. And that's why this double-sided adhesive works really, really well. So we're almost done. Got one little area that is being stubborn, but we'll get it to happen. It's like right there in the middle. Okay. And we have some little stragglers up there, but I'm totally okay with that. So let that cool down for a second, and then we're going to put a sentiment on here. We're going to use the Hello from Me to You sentiment from this My Favorite Thing stamp set called, well, Hello. So I'm going to grab out a stamping tool because I already have it sitting, a stamp already sitting in there, and I'm just going to be monochromatic, and I'm just going to put some black ink on here. And so I'm going to use my black VersaFine black Onyx ink on here just for today's purposes. And let's see, we're going to put that into our little stamping tool. We're going to put our magnets on here. We're going to double check that our sentiment is okay where it currently is at, and it appears to be totally okay. So, okay, so here is our VersaFine black Onyx ink, and we're just going to ink up our stamps here. And I have to say this because this is a pigment ink, which I'm finding a huge love for pigment inks when it comes down to stamping, because they give such a good image stamping, especially on bold images and sentiments like this big one. Like, you want to press really good onto the Hello since it's so big, but just lightly on that From Me to You, because if you push it too hard, it will squish out on you. And we have a good stamped image there, so we're going to go ahead and pull that out, and we'll clean that later. And I'm just going to make sure it's dry, so it should be good. And I'm going to come in with my foam squares, you know, my favorite, all-time favorite foam squares, right? And I'm just going to put the foam squares on the back, and I think it's like from the Dollar Tree. When I can find them, I buy them all up because they don't come in often. So, okay. And then we'll take the release paper off, and I'll always put my art glitter glue on the back of it as well, so I have a little bit of that wiggle room on there, because I am not the greatest at lining things up, and you'll see that more and more as the future goes along. All right, so then we have that. Then I have these little gems that I actually picked up from the expo a couple months ago, and I'm just going to put 3 of them onto our cards. So I'm going to go here, and I like this fact that some of its little sprays on here, like it went wild. I like that because it just kind of gives it an intentional purpose, and I'm okay with that, because that's the fun part about it. It's like, I'm not going to adhere it down and all. Like I said, it takes me forever, so you're just going to put that onto your card front, and that completes this card. So let me go ahead and show you my examples of some of the other ones that I did using some different embossing powders from Seth. So here is one that's on some blue navy cardstock. Did the same with the frame on the inside. Same concept, just only thing different is going to be the embossing powders used and the inks that I use. So the one that I use for this one is called Deep Sea. It's a Deep Sea, so I'll kind of open it up for you, and you see how cool it is. It's like really, really awesome. Really, really love that. Okay. See, really, really cool, huh? And I think that's awesome. So we have that, and we used ink pad that I used was some VersaFine Clear. It was the Bluebell. Just kind of color coordinating them as much as I can, and all that good stuff. So that one is right there. I like it. And like I said, here is the one that we just did, the black one with the Rocky Road embossing powder. Okay. And next up is this really cool greenish looking one called Rustic Indigo. So it has a greenish bluish tint to it. Okay. And then I think I used a green ink. This one is called Green Oasis from VersaFine Clear. So that's another one. I just put on some green cardstock. It was textured, so I made sure I put a panel on the inside of that one. And the last one I have for you today is this one. This one is called Ancient Amber. So let's kind of open it up, and you kind of see how that looks. And I went ahead and used a brown ink from the VersaFine Clear line called Pinecone. All right, so that is all I have for you today. So please share what you've made, and if you've used these powders before, let me know how you like them, which one is your favorite, in the comment section below. And I thank you for joining me today. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video. Please make sure you also subscribe to this channel, and when that notification bell comes up, you want to go ahead and hit that so you'll get notified from YouTube each and every time that I upload a video. And I thank you once again for joining me, and have a crafty day, y'all.